If you're excited for this year's NFL draft, go ahead and like this video. How can you not be? The Bears have the number 1 pick. They have the number 9 pick. Trade rumors are flying all over the place. If you're fired up for the NFL draft this year, hit that like button because coming up on today's show, we got some trade ideas featuring the number 9 pick. I'm Harrison Graham, and on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I got 5 Bears blockbuster trades with the number 9 pick. All the focus has been on the first pick. We're talking about the 9th pick today. By the way, shout out your favorite blockbuster game you used to rent or movie, etc. Looking at that logo, it's just nostalgic from my childhood. But we're going to get into these trade ideas here. Let's start with the first team I think the Bears could try to pull off a trade with. That is the San Francisco 49ers, who just came off of a heartbreaking Super Bowl loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. They continue to knock on that door, but you know that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are going to have to tinker with things and make some tough decisions this offseason. Could they look to trade up all the way to number 9? So here was a trade idea I cooked up here. Brandon Aiyuk to the Bears, their second-round pick, 63 overall, and their 4th for the number 9 pick. Now, you might be saying, why are the Niners giving up that much? Well, they have to jump pretty damn far based on where they're picking, right? Like, they're not going to get a receiver of Aiyuk or Debo's caliber, more likely, at 31. So if they don't think they can keep Aiyuk and Debo, which there's been a lot of chatter that they may have to choose, then why not give up one of them and then throw in a couple of extra picks, get into the top 10, and then take Malik Neighbors, take Rome Odunze, etc. Been kind of rumors circulating that Aiyuk might want out of San Francisco. He seemed pretty upset after the Super Bowl on social media. He had family and friends kind of reporting this is why, or not reporting, but tweeting IG story, etc. This is why we're not going to be in San Francisco after this year, etc. Brandon Aiyuk's a hell of a player, man. And what I really like about his career arc is that he's just improved every single year. He goes from 748 and 5 touchdowns to 826 and 5 touchdowns, takes that big leap in year 3, 1,000-yard season, and then this year becomes a borderline all-pro with over 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns, and had a career year in terms of yards per catch at almost 18. Now, if you're the Bears, if you make this move or any move or anyone that trades for Brandon Aiyuk, obviously, you're going to extend him too. He's got the 5th-year option. He's set to play under. I think likely you would extend him right away, kind of morph this year into a 4 or 5-year extension, and then you've got him for the years to come. I'll say this, man. Brandon Aiyuk, opposite of DJ Moore, I mean, that's a hell of a 1-2 punch. Maybe you get your number 3 in free agency or something like that. So certainly interesting. Would the Niners do it? I'm not sure, but something worth exploring. Next up is the New England Patriots, as the Patriots are kind of in a rebuild situation. There's been some chatter that they'd be willing to move off of the number 3 pick. So this kind of structure has been thrown out there by people, and we've talked about it some, and I'll talk about it again here, where the Patriots and Bears swap first-round picks, 9 and 3. Obviously not the number 1 pick for the Bears, but their 9th pick for the 3rd, and then you send Justin Fields to New England. So you're basically saying the gap from 3 to 9, Justin Fields kind of fills that. And I think that math is probably pretty accurate because Fields is worth probably a 2 and a 3, a 2 and a 4, depending on where teams are picking in that round. I'm moving down 6 spots in the first round. That math probably adds up pretty accurately. And obviously in this scenario, this is the Caleb Marvin Harrison Jr. combo scenario, right? Like, you get Caleb at 1, you get MHJ at 3, you got your top 2 receivers with DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe MHJ by 2025, 2026 takes over as your number 1, and that's kind of your new nucleus offensively along with Cole Kmet and some of those young pieces on the offensive line. We've talked about Caleb Williams. We'll continue to talk about him. The talent's there. We know that. We know there was some issues in 2023. Seemed like he started to press some, especially late in the season because their defense was so bad. But he can do it all, obviously, as a prospect. No guarantee he's going to be a great pro, but certainly feel like he has a promising future. Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, his productivity and just overall skill set speaks for itself. 6'4", 205, 210. He's a vertical guy. He's great after the catch. red zone machine. Has the occasional untimely drop, but that's really the only thing you can kind of pick apart. It's not like he has a drop issue. It's just a slightly higher drop percentage than some other prospects. But, yeah, I mean, he's special. You get those two guys together along with DJ and Cole. That's a pretty fun quartet offensively. How excited would you be for a Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. combo? Scale it from 1 to 10. And, you know, this idea, too, is kind of what the Texans did last year, right? Where they get C.J. Stroud and they trade up for Will Anderson. Obviously, that was offense-defense, but you could do it offense here. So scale from 1 to 10, 10 being you'd be thrilled, 1 being you wouldn't be excited at all. How excited would you be for a Caleb MHJ combo? The Denver Broncos are next up here as Sean Payton may look to move up a few spots and get his quarterback. We'll talk about what that trade structure could look like here in just a moment. But first, do want to tell you guys about our sponsor on today's show. That is PrizePicks. Second half of the NBA season is about here, so if you want to make some prize picks with some Bulls games, you can do that. You also got Major League Baseball around the corner. You got golf, NASCAR, NHL, college hoops, tons of sports, esports that you can play daily fantasy with. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. You just select players, 2 to 6 players on any given entry. You can cross over sports, doesn't matter. Choose more or less on different statistical categories, and if you hit, you make money. 2-player entry, you can win up to 3 times your money, 10 to win 30. 4-player entry, win up to 10 times your money, 10 to win 100. 6-player entry, 25 times your money, 10 to win 250. Get started today, up to $100 deposit match, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that match, like we mentioned, up to $100. Link is in the comments and description. If you're watching live, it's in the live chat. Code CLNS to get that deposit match up to $100. Excuse me. All right, let's get to this Denver trade idea. So you swap first, 9 and 12. Bears get Courtland Sutton, big boundary receiver, and then the Broncos also get that 4th-round pick you have via Philadelphia. I think Sutton in a vacuum is probably worth a late 2nd, early 3rd. So to move up 3 picks in the 1st round, that kind of adds up. Even if you want to say it's a premium for Chicago, well, I'm asking for a premium if Sean Payton's wanting to trade up for a quarterback. And I think the Broncos could be in line to do that. There's almost no chance Russell Wilson's back next year. Are they going to roll with Jarrett Stidham? Maybe. That seems like a bad idea, though. But they love J.J. McCarthy, or if somehow Jaden Daniels slips a bunch or whatever, or maybe they like Michael Penix, whatever the case may be, Denver may not want to wait until 12. They may, start to get antsy and go get their guy. And, for the Bears to get Courtland Sutton, I think in this scenario, like if Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors are gone, okay, you pivot to a guy like Sutton, who still, I think, has some good years left. Now, last year was a bit of an anomaly. He goes from back-to-back 2-touchdown seasons to 10, so I think there'd be a touchdown regression there, but could he give you the catch and yard production? That's been pretty steady. He's kind of been in that 60-catch range, high 7, low 800 yards. If he can give you 60 catches, 800 yards, that's pretty good production for a number 2. And again, if Neighbors and Odunze are off the board, I don't think there's another receiver worth drafting at number 9, so I think exploring a trade down could make sense. Trade down to 12, get a receiver from Denver. Maybe you draft an edge with that number 12 pick, or a left tackle if one of those guys is still there. You certainly would have some flexibility if you are Ryan Poles, so I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that. Trade idea number 4 with the Las Vegas Raiders, as they, of course, have been linked to trading up for a quarterback as well. I know my colleague Mitchell Renz really wants Jaden Daniels, so in this scenario, I don't think that's playing out because the Bears, I don't think Daniels has fallen to number 9, but maybe they like another quarterback, or maybe they like another player in this draft. So, again, you swap first-round picks. This one's just a pick trade. Raiders send their 2nd, Bears send back their 4th via Philly. So 13 and 44 to Chicago for 9 and I think around 120 or so. That pick via Philly. Now, that number is going to change based on comp picks once those come in. But, again, moving up 4 picks in the 1st round, you're going to have to trade another solid pick if you're Vegas. So certainly the case there. I also believe that Ryan Poles is going to want to get into that 2nd round of the draft by any means necessary. Maybe trading Justin Fields is how he accomplishes that. Maybe trading down from 9 is how he accomplishes that. But the Bears have 2 top 10 picks, but then don't pick again until the 3rd round. I'd find it hard to believe that he's going to want to sit on his hands and knees and not have a pick for about 60 selections. So I think he wants to get into that second round. Trading down from 9 helps you do that, and a quarterback-needy team could look to move up. Subscribe to Bears Now by Chat Sports for free. We're publishing the latest Bears news, rumors. We're exploring the latest trade buzz and ideas like this, draft, free agency coverage, and a whole lot more. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We got you covered on a daily basis here on the channel. All right, trade idea number 5 with the Atlanta Falcons, as I think Atlanta's a pretty intriguing team to watch this offseason. I mean, they so clearly need a quarterback, but they're also picking at number 8. Can they get into that top 3 or 4 to get one of the top 3 guys? Maybe, but takes 2 to tango for that. I think what's more likely is they try to bring Justin Fields home to Atlanta. He's from the Atlanta area. So I've seen a trade similar to this explored online, and the Bears move up from 9 to 8. They also get 43 in Atlanta's 4th-round pick, and the Falcons, of course, get 9 back and Justin Fields. So it's basically Fields for 2 and a 4th, but you also move up a spot in the draft. So I think that's pretty valuable. And again, that might be the difference in Odunze or Neighbors being there versus not, because maybe another team tries to trade up with Atlanta, or maybe Atlanta would take a receiver there with that 8th pick if they just stood pat. So you move up a selection, I think that could really help. Justin Fields, I mean, he grew up watching Michael Vick in Atlanta. He's talked about that before. I mean, he's one of the closest things we've seen to Michael Vick in this era of football, and I think that would give a jolt of energy to that franchise that really last year missed out at a bad NFC South. I think if Justin Fields was the Falcons quarterback this past season, they would have won that division. I feel pretty confident in that, and they desperately need a quarterback, and I think Justin Fields in Atlanta, I mean, can't you just see it? Like, he's from the area. He reminds people of Michael Vick with his play style. Like, it makes sense. Now, does Zach Robinson want him? Does their new head coach, who I'm completely drawing, Raheem Morris, thank you, Jeremy, is that the type of quarterback he wants? I don't know, but what options are the Falcons going to have if, say, they swing and miss on Kirk Cousins, right? Like, I'm sure Cousins might be their top guy, but if you can't get him, then Justin Fields is a pretty good, I think, consolation there if you're Atlanta. So I could definitely see them being in on Justin Fields. I think that trade compensation makes sense for Ryan Poles. You move up pick in round 1, you get a top 45 selection as well, plus a 4th next year. Certainly could do a lot worse if you are Chicago. What do you guys think? Will Justin Fields get traded? Yes or no? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know in the comments section. I think it's more likely that he gets traded than doesn't, but I also don't think a final conclusion has been made by the Bears, although it sounds like they want to make that decision on what they're doing at quarterback between now and the start of the NFL Combine. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Those are my 5 trade ideas featuring the number 9 pick in the NFL Draft. My name is Harrison Graham. If you want more Chicago Bears videos here on this channel, subscribe. We're publishing every single day.